Morning. I gotta find some kind of backdrop. Hello. How's everyone doing today? Oh my. Oh, we got about 30 seconds. I'm prepared to get on the floor if I have to. Good morning. Hey. Good morning. It's better to be talking from here than on the front porch of my house like yesterday. So I survived yesterday. My daughter and I went to see Star Wars. Oh, hey, I'm in Loganville. Chris. Just east of Atlanta. Yes, it's much warmer. Morgan and I went and saw, and right, I know, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful not to have gotten swiped by Sasquatch. Hi, hello. So Star Wars was awesome. Good. If you haven't seen it, if you're not a Star Wars geek, then we can't be friends. So that's news. That's your news today. If you don't understand Star Wars, hi, I think have we met? Yeah, I think we saw you before in the middle of the night. It's your nighttime there, right? Thanks for joining in. Today is our Tao Te Ching Byron Katie Day, and we are on chapter 24 already. Can you believe that? Chapter 24. We're like a third of the way through already. It's crazy. Crazy. So we start with yeah, I mean, I guess you can probably say that about yeah, it's nighttime for you. Bless your heart. Yeah, no spoilers. People haven't seen it yet. I wanted to see it so quickly because I was terrified someone was going to spoil it for me. So we'll start with here. Good morning, good morning. Almost midnight. Yeah, don't spoil it. Chapter 24. Let's get started. You did. Do you love it? Yeah. For those of you who don't know, the Tao Te Ching comes in multiple translations. We're just using 2 of them. I actually didn't know how many translations are available. There's one for parents, one for dogs and cats, one for farm animals, there's one for business people. Here you go. This one is Ursula K. Le Guin. One for couples, one for toddlers in picture form. There's a translation for everyone. It's incredible. But these are the 2 we're using. One for midlife. You're welcome. Today's chapter 24. Proportion. Hi, Cindy. Hi, everybody. If I missed your name, I apologize. Proportion. You can't keep standing on tiptoe or walk in leaps and bounds. You can't shine by showing off or get ahead by pushing. Self-satisfied people do no good, and self-promoters never grow up. Right. Such stuff is to the Tao as garbage is to food, or a tumor to the body, hateful. The follower of the way avoids it. Proportion. I like that. I like her version. You can't keep standing on tiptoe or walk in leaps and bounds. You can't shine by showing off or get ahead by pushing. Self-satisfied people do no good. Self-promoters never grow up. Such stuff is to the Tao as garbage is to food or a tumor to the body, hateful. The follower of the way avoids it. A tumor to the body, that's pretty vivid imagery there. Something to be rejected. Something to be isolated and removed. We all have those tendencies. That part of ourselves that believes that there's not enough to go around, so we have to get grabby or graspy about it. But it's not helpful. It doesn't do you any good. And I wonder about the people who, the salesman people who do, it is a good cliche. It's cliche because it's true. All in moderation. The salesy people who are doing, 5, 6, 7 scopes a day, like, how do they keep that up? I can barely get through one a day. I committed to one a day, and I can do that. But 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 a day, all la la la, push, push, push. How the hell? Where do they get that energy? And does it work? Do you keep long-term customers that way? Or maybe you just... Yeah, it probably works in the short term, right? For a short tail business. It probably works for the people who buy once and move on. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just speculating. It just looks exhausting to me. This is our other translation, Stephen Mitchell. Yeah, for me it looks not desirable. But it must be working or people wouldn't do it, right? You wouldn't stay doing 7 or 8 or 9 scopes a day if it wasn't generating business for you. I mean, I guess. This is Stephen Mitchell's version. Chapter 24. He who stands on tiptoe doesn't stand firm, right? We're off balance if we're up on our toes. He who rushes ahead doesn't go far. He who tries to shine dims his own light. True. Yeah, also true. He who defines himself can't know who he really is, right? When we're boxing ourselves up with labels. He who has power over others can't empower himself. He who clings to his work will create nothing that endures. If you want to accord with the Tao, just do your job, then let go. Just do your job, then let go. There's something about Periscope that there's a neuroscientist on here, I can't remember his name, but he was talking about the dopamine rush you can get from scoping. So that may be part of why people scope multiple times a day, too. The heart and the stuff creates a feedback loop, positive reinforcement, and it can be addicting for some people. The excitement, yeah. I mean, it's very, obviously, we wouldn't do it if it wasn't rewarding in some way. I find it very rewarding. It's been very helpful to my life. So, it's better than sugar. He who has power over others can't empower himself. He who clings to his work will create nothing that endures. The tighter we cling to stuff, the faster it crumbles. We know that, having lived some life and seen what grasping and crushing and clinging can do for you. So let's see what Byron Katie has to say about it. I'm loving this book. I know I say this every day that we read it, but I love this book. I love it. Chapter 24 in this book. So this book is set to go, for anyone who hasn't been here before, this book goes chapter by chapter in conjunction with this book. These two go together. Hey, Roseanne. Chapter 24. Reality is very clear when your mind is clear. It couldn't be simpler, though people feel that there's got to be something hidden behind it. It's user-friendly. What you see is what you get. Whatever happens is good, and if you don't think so, you can question your mind. I see people and things without a story, so when it comes to me to move toward them or away from them, I move without argument. I don't know why not. The movement is always perfect, and I have nothing to do with it. So because there's nothing hidden, reality sounds like this. Woman sitting in chair with cup of tea. That's it. That's as sweet as I want it because that's what it is. I call it the last story. When you love what is, it becomes so simple to live in the world because you understand that everything is exactly as it should be. It's common for me to speak from the position of a personality, even though I don't believe it, from the position of mankind, from the position of earth, from the position of God, from the position of a rock. If these things even exist, I am their origin, and I'll call myself it because I don't have a reference point for separation. This is that speaking of yourself in third person thing that we talked about several weeks ago. I am all these things, and I don't have any concept that I'm not. I've simply learned to speak in a way that doesn't alienate people. She said, maybe it was in an interview or something, that when she first started doing this work, she couldn't talk to people. She didn't have, she kind of lost her common language, so she had to rein it back in a little bit to be able to communicate, like we talked about earlier this week. Yeah, like the language of Course in Miracles and the language of even the Tao is reductionist by nature. How can we talk about the infinite with finite words? So I'm sure in the beginning it was really hard for her to figure out how to talk to people now from her new perspective. This leaves me as benign, unseen, unknown, as a comfortable place for people. I speak to them from the position of a friend, and if people trust me, it's because I meet them wherever they are. Yeah, that makes sense. Like you forget how to talk, or maybe talking becomes really uncomfortable. I know when I've been out by myself for several days and haven't been talking, coming back to populated areas is almost physically painful. Like having to speak again and having to hear a lot of noise again is physically painful. There's no pop culture references. What are you supposed to talk about if you can't reference like Star Wars and rap music? I think periscoping has become a trigger for Ashlyn to poop. Yeah, no way to judge. No measuring stick. I'm in love. It's a love affair with itself. When a mind loves itself, it loves everything it projects. To meet people where they are without any conditions is to meet my own self without conditions. I'm in love with everything. It's total vanity. I would kiss the ground I walk on. It's all me. I like speaking as a human. I call it my disguise. That's interesting. The first thing I did when I woke up to reality was fall in love with form. I fell in love with the eyes and the floor and the ceiling. I am that. I am that. It's nothing and it's everything. None of it is separate. Just to be born into this goodness. Can you guys hear that in the background? That's terrible. Right now with eyes open is enough. As I gaze out at the sky on this perfect day, I don't even know it's a sky until mind. Yeah, phase 1 and phase 2. So that Robert Scheinfeld book that we've mentioned a few times, Busting Loose, or there's Busting Loose on Money, and then there's the ultimate key to happiness. I think he has a third one, doesn't he? He talks about human, like everyday Joe Blow reality, and then phase 2 reality where you're always aware that this is a game. And how we set it up is however we want to set it up. And you're functioning, seeing like the 2 different levels at all times, which would make it... Well, don't hurt yourself, honey. Just having a hard time over here. And that is what's happening to us. Like the longer we're awake and the longer we recognize our thoughts for being thoughts and our judgments for being judgments and things that we don't have to buy into anymore, it does make communication harder. Yeah. Like reading these, especially the Course in Miracles, which is a bulky book already, but it even gets harder to translate. Things, I think, become symbol. That's what's interesting about Eastern language is the kanji, the little letter-looking things, but they're not letters. They're pictures. And communication in pictures is an interesting way to get through life, existence. As I gaze out at the sky on this perfect day, I don't even know it's a sky until mind names it. There's no world to see until mind eyes me, capital I in quotation marks, and begins to produce names that to an unquestioned mind would separate reality into this and that and this and that and those little boxes that we talk about. Categorizing everything, constant analysis. Let's see. I love that my mind doesn't believe my mind. Your mind can stop believing itself. It can recognize the story's constantly running, and it's just a story. And you don't have to latch onto it, and you don't have to buy into it. Beginning meditation, sometimes you're taught just to, when you catch yourself caught up in a story, just to label it thinking. Just to say, oh, thinking, and go on. Oh, thinking again, and just go on. Just thinking, just labeling it. Without meaning, how can separation exist? I appear as the old and the new, the beginning and the end. I'm you, I'm everything. This ecstatic pulse, this nameless joy, this dancing without movement, this electrifying, brilliant nothingness. That's cool. Separation only exists when we start breaking things down into categories and labels, things to be put together like Legos, like Tetris. You're lining all your little boxes and shapes up and cramming them all together and trying to make a cohesive whole out of it. It works in Tetris, but it doesn't work in life. You okay down there? They're being little characters today. They're a little on the needy side. It's rainy and we're past our longest night of the year, right? So now we get more daylight a little bit at a time. So the girls have been a little bit, little on the crank side, a little on the needy side, which just challenges us to let them be as they want to be instead of how we would rather them be. Toddlers are constant university, aren't they? Children. They don't care what you think they should do. They're going to do what they want to do, what they're here to do, which can be refreshing. Excuse me. I'll call him back. I forgot to turn off the notices again, I guess. So I have a lot going on. Just wrapping up babysitting time today and going back, finishing up Christmas stuff. People are traveling. I'll call you back in a minute. I just declined his phone call. There he is. Yeah, when the two of them together, hi, Heath, I'll call you back in as soon as I'm done here. You can't reject phone calls if people know you're on Periscope. They just pop in and like, hey. How's the puppy, Michelle? You caught that? Yeah, that's because you're smart. I'll be done in just a few minutes. Yeah, he's smart like that. Smart as a whip. How's the puppy? How's Charlie the puppy? Biting a lot, but that's a puppy. Yeah, dogs are also good instructors for how not to label, right? So, I don't really have a whole lot today. We were out late with the movie, and it's kind of a wordless kind of day. It's rainy and foggy, and it feels more like a drawing day. You're welcome. I picked up drawing a few years ago because I was kind of tired of words. I wanted a break from words. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff, like, I'm glad we're only doing it a chapter every other day, because my tendency would be to read through this really quickly and not really absorb it as deeply as it needs to be absorbed. And I like that it's small. If you want to accord with the Tao, just do your job, then let go. the letting go part. Well, there's a mess over here I need to go clean. It takes time to settle in. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to read this more than once. Sometimes when we're done here, I read it again 2 or 3 times and see it a little bit differently. Oh, you want that open? Here you go. Here you go. Yeah, it's really profoundly deceptive. It's deceptively simple. And it's not simple at all when you really think about it. It's not complicated either. See, there's that problem. It's not simple, it's not complicated. The kid overthink it, I guess. Alright, well, I'm going to go, peoples. I'll see you tomorrow for A Course in Miracles. Thank you. Thanks for coming and the hearts and all that. And I'm going to go take care of this issue over here. Love you guys. Love you. Have fun finishing up your Christmas stuff if you do Christmas. And love to everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye. Are you saying bye? Aw. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, jammy butts.
Bye.
Bye. Yes, happy solstice.